What's up, everybody? Day 16 of Indianapolis Colts training camp is in the books, and with that, so is training camp itself. The Colts just put a bow on their entire 2009 training camp session after 2 days of joint practices with the Cleveland Browns. By this point in training camp, guys are tired of hitting their own teammates. They're tired of being out here in 90 degrees in full pads, and it showed. Today was very physical, very heated. Tons of fights today, lots of guys just ready to be done. We'll go ahead and, of course, as always, start with today's injuries. Those who were out today were Andrew Luck, Adam Vinatieri, Paris Campbell, Jordan Wilkins, Clayton Gathers, Jabal Sheard, and Penny Hart. Now, Hart has been out basically since the first week of practice. Today, though, he got out there early, and he did have his helmet with him and was fielding some punts. So that's more than we have seen him do to this point. Didn't practice, but he did do stuff before. Quentin Nelson also returned to the field today after missing the last couple days. Earlier in the week, he kind of got a little ankle ding and has been out, but he was back today. Still up in the air whether he plays Saturday or not, but it's a good sign nonetheless. The news of the day is very, very unfortunate. Derice Fountain, who had been having an amazing training camp and has done everything possible to make this roster so far, went down with a really gruesome looking injury. Reports out there say it, from Ian Rappaport, say it's a dislocated and fractured ankle. The Colts said he has been taken to the hospital. For those of you unfamiliar with that injury, I'm no doctor and I can't speak specifically to this case, but just for reference, I believe that's the same thing that happened to Gordon Hayward in his first game with the Celtics a couple years ago. I also heard comparisons to Paul George's injury, so just kind of keep that in mind. Terrible break for Reese. Again, couldn't have happened to a harder working guy. This is someone who did everything right throughout camp, and you just absolutely hate to see this happen. So speedy recovery to Reese. Hopefully he can come back whenever that may be and pick up where he left off. As far as highlights for today go, the Colts defense, that's what I was watching today after I watched offense yesterday. Their defense held their own for the most part, with the exception of one 2-minute drill where Baker Mayfield led the Browns offense just right down the field, rapid fire. 2 big plays on that. He went about 40 yards down the left sideline to Jalen Strong, and then just a couple plays later, he hit Jarvis Landry in the end zone for about a 5-yard score. So he just cut through the Colts defense like a knife there, but they held their own afterwards. The second team defense in that same session of 2-on-2s, they held their own. They got a pass breakup on Drew Stanton. They sacked him, and really the Browns struggled to even get past midfield. So the second team defense kind of made up a little bit for what happened with the first team defense. Overall, the Colts defense in general throughout the day did pretty well. They intercepted Baker Mayfield twice. The first one looked kind of like a miscommunication between Baker and his intended receiver. He threw it into the end zone, and it was just right into Khari Willis's chest. Just didn't look like him and the receiver were on the same page on that one. Later, near the end of practice, Rashard Higgins kind of bobbled a pass, and Kenny Moore dove and intercepted it. On the very next play, Mayfield went to the end zone again, and Moore was able to knock the pass away. So lots of heads-up plays by Kenny Moore today. Some of today's standouts, Khari Willis with his interception, Kenny Moore with his couple plays made. Rookie Ben Banagoo, defensive end, looked really good. One-on-one drills, he had this really nice, spin moves are kind of a finesse move, but this was kind of a power spin move. Is really unique to see, but he kind of bowled into the blocker's body and then just spun right off him using quite a bit of force, but it worked and he won the rep. He also had a really nice tackle for loss later on in 11-on-11s. Kamoko Toure looked really well, looked really good as well. He did have one sack against former quarterback, Purdue quarterback David Blau. Just bent the edge really nice and just hit him right, not hit him technically, can't do that to quarterbacks, but got right to Blau's blind side to kill the play. So Teray Banagoo, a couple young defensive ends making plays today. And then just, closing it out with all the fights that happened today. Tensions were really high. The Colts could barely even get through their special teams punting drills where their punt team was out there, just because there was 3 or 4 fights that broke out during them. They could barely get any work done. Just players are over training camp. Tensions were high. But one silver lining is these guys have their teammates back. They're not going to let anyone mess with them. They're going to be right there, literally fighting for them. So we'll have more videos coming out for you soon. The Colts and Browns actually play their game on Saturday. I might, kind of put a bow on training camp for you guys as well in the next couple days. So keep an eye out for that. Thank you guys so much for following along these videos and dealing with my very nice editorial skills and, all these producers' cuts, on fire with these videos. But no, thank you for following along. Keep following along on Twitter now that the season is going to be getting started soon. And like and subscribe here as well. Thanks, guys.